big saving is in making sure that everyone has the tool they need at the time they need it. AI is breaking completely the whole way things are working. In order to do the same work, you need less people. You need less licenses. Basically, if a vendor will switch to named licenses, eventually they won't be able to cover their expenses. We will see a lot of focus in compliance and cybersecurity, because this is a huge risk for our customers. We see how much they care about it. I think it will increase significantly.
So hello and warm welcome to all our listeners, and in this case also viewers of our new podcast that we will be doing, I hope, regularly. And I'm your host today. I'm Bundil, and today I have with me an honorable guest, Mr. Oren Gabay, the CEO of OpenLM. So Oren, for the people that don't know you, could you please make a quick introduction?
Yes, first, pleasure to be here. I'm Oren, and I'm one of the founders, and I'm also leading OpenLM for the last 15 years, and this is a great honor to be in that position that allows me to help many organizations to better succeed in whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
That's all.
Great. So, I think we will have many very good insights, for our listeners. And, I hope people will get the most out of this conversation. So let's begin with my first questions. And, I want to talk about, savings. Everybody likes to save some money, want to reduce the cost. But, what is like the most significant benefit for a company that they can gain, when they optimize their software assets?
Yes, I think the most critical thing that I'm looking into is ensuring the operation of the company, and making sure that we are utilizing the assets and the means we have, and the energy and everything we do in an optimized way. This is what pushing me to do this, to push this approach forward. And I think, yes, eventually when you improve your operation, you can also eventually save money, can make sure that resources are available, but it also comes from the same thing that is I care about resources. I care about being more efficient. It all comes from there, and I think this is the most significant message that should come to anybody, from the leadership to anybody within the organization. And what we do, software asset management, at specifically specialty and engineering license management, comes from this specific point.
Yes, I share, many opinions with you. So let me dive a little bit deeper on this, because, whenever we are, speaking either to our prospects or to our customers, well, many times the first question is, ROI. What is an ROI? And it's very understandable. But what do you think? How can you put into the picture some of the savings that are not really that easy measurable by now?
Exactly.
And I think you know where I'm leading with this question, because that is something that many people are not considering at all, and I think that it is a big mistake.
Exactly, because when we are looking into ROI, we are looking into, basically we're analyzing three sections, which is something that we can measure. So let's start with the most least significant. let's say I have a team of 5 people managing the software assets, and they're doing many technical jobs, printing file, comparing, and doing a lot of manual work. That I'm saying, okay, I have a solution now. I can save this time of these people. This is the smallest saving in monetary um, in money. The second one is the saving on the software assets. Okay, so we know that when we are doing a project on the first tier, we can get to 30% and even much bigger saving. And this is more significant, but still, I think this is another small saving. The big saving is in making sure that everyone has the tool they need at the time they need it, and you can easily get there by just buying extra licensing. I spoke many times with people that told me, I don't care, I'm buying a network license for each user in my team, and that's all. Problem solved. I don't care that they're working 10 months a year. But that's the most important thing. The message is that we care, and I care as a leader, and my leadership cares, and I expect everyone within the organization to care also. This is the message.
Exactly. Because I had this one very nice experience where I was talking to a prospect, and basically they put this into the picture by basically monetizing the amount of work that the guy who will be operating some kind of tool that will automate his work. Okay, how much will it say, because they know what is his yearly salary. The conclusion was, okay, it will basically free half of your time to do other stuff, so there's a monetary value. But I have been a landlord actually, because there are also things that are not that easily even the salary of the people, how much time do they work. But let's say you will optimize to a way where basically the quantity of licenses you have is almost perfect, let's say, or your best that you can do with the information that you have. And now you are saving some hours for one engineer, some hours to second engineer. So basically, to do an analysis and put this into the monetary value is really hard, I think, because really extremely cool. And because of it is complicated, do you think that people are even considering this, as a, some saving?
Yeah, that's a tough question, because when we introduce OpenLM in an organization, we always try to come with an ROI calculation. So saying, these are the assets that until now you didn't manage correctly. Now you're going to manage it. And we have our statistics. We know very clearly what that's saying. When you get to the engineering, it's a negotiation, and there it starts. So you can put any number, and the other side maybe can say, no, it's too much. So what I usually do, I'm saying, hold your own number here. What do you think? You want to put 0? It's okay. It's still ROI positive. And if you want to put 0.5% or even 1%, because the investments are so big, think about companies that we are serving. We're talking sometimes about tens of thousands of engineers all working on project. And it's not only about saving their time. It's about getting to the delivery in time. It's about having the tool to ensure that you get to the delivery time and you check everything. And instead of seeing engineers that are calling the IT or walking between the tables and trying to understand where is the license, we can focus. Whoa, instead.
Yeah, that was also the point, is because missing deliveries are very costly for any organization. But again, the message is, how will you quantify it, right? Because if you are going higher about the, let's say, leadership or managerial positions in the company, they usually only care about the money, which is again understandable because they cannot have the insight from the very bottom level of the hierarchy of the organization. But yeah, I think also these responsibilities should be divided between the roles, right? Because there is a different level of understanding at the bottom level, and a very different level of understanding at the top level.
Yeah, right. I'm saying trying to nail a number is very hard. I'm usually never putting by default anything above 5%, and typically even if I put 1%, counting the work hours of the engineers, it's a lot of money. It's just enormous amount of money. 5% out of me, as it's still, yeah, it's still very, but it's good enough, to prove the project is positive, and yes, we can move forward. Even 1%, it's can easily show.
Okay, now we can watch. So I think we can move to a second topic that I prepared for today. So basically, currently there are some unique challenges that are related to managing or even monitoring your software utilization, because people are now after the COVID working in hybrid environments. All of this that's a challenge by itself, but also it's basically to change drastically the licensing of the any application that not just engineering, specialty applications, all of the applications any organization use. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, this is a real challenge, and first of all, it's the loss of visibility, right? Because when everyone's sitting on the same network, like here, we are here, we in the office, we count everything, we can see we can see with our eyes, and so it's very strong, and you can't put it aside. It's still meaningful. You see with your eyes what is happening, and when people are just scattered around, you lose the visibility. By the way, as you know, one of the challenges that we are dealing with, and we have the solution, is for workforce that are going to the field. So I'm an engineer. I work in the office usually, but I'll take my laptop, I take the licenses I need, and I go to the field, to the customer, and I'm working there. This is a similar challenge to understand, okay, you bought the licenses, what do you do with them? Are you using them or not? And we need a solution for that. So we spoke about visibility then. When a person is working outside the office, I'm also losing the ability to ensure the compliance. So, okay, was something installed that shouldn't be there? Maybe there is a legal risk to the organization that we need to deal with, because the costs in that case can be very high. Something that I also seen some organization mentioning that they don't want, so probably it happened, their employees to utilize the licenses, the company licenses, for doing works that are not related to the organization. And this is a challenge that was put in front of us, and we could also provide a solution for that. I think that another challenge is license allocation in that case, because again, when everyone comes to the office, similar hours, we know how to do it. Also, perfectly, we need the software to do that. But when people work at home, sometimes different hours, middle of the night, here, there, we need to understand what is going on. And license allocation becomes a much bigger challenge. One of the things that we know how to do is to learn the user's usage patterns. So we know when person is typically using something and when he's not, when he's taking vacation and when he's at work. And this allows us to adjust the license allocation and specifically the licensing that we allocate to that user to the specific period of time. And I'm saying this is not something that is unique to users that are hybrid, yes, generic, but the challenge is much bigger when it's
Yes, well, that actually it was more common, that's the thing. Because from what I know from my past experience, let's say the division between the workforce in the office and let's call them in-field engineers, right? Like borrowing license or any other gyárat, name license, was maybe like 90 to 10, right? Somewhere around there. And now it could be half an hour. It could even be like you have more people who are outside your network than you have, in the company.
exact. So it also comes to the quick.
Yep.
It can also comes to the IT support. It's a wider problem, and since in OpenLM we are a global company, we have many people that are working different offices in the world. We have people that are working from home offices, and we know the challenge, and we are managing it. 20 hours, exactly.
But I think actually I don't want this, to be understood in a bad way. But if we can take like one positive experience out of the whole COVID era, is that it proved even that when we have change that is this big, because I heard a lot of times from the companies, this is something that cannot before COVID, right?
Yeah.
You cannot have hybrid of those. It doesn't work, yeah, from the IT perspective, from the licensing perspective, from whatever. They were trying to find as many, let's say, roadblockers or excuses as we can. Basically say that it's not possible, and now we see that it could be possible, and it's also successful model, I think.
Okay, so let's say that it's a successful model for OpenLM. I see a very strong trend in many places where we are operating, a very strong push for employees to come back to the office. I think that overall, me personally, I see the downside of working from home. People that I never get to see, I never get to meet in person, which is something I really miss because I need to work closely with people. So personally, I need to say I don't like to work from home. I'm doing any effort to be in the office. I see the benefits. So for me, making an employee happy and knowing that he can be flexible and now he can do whatever he needs, and then he can do the work on another time. I know that it's a benefit, and we are happily be able to provide it. But I see also the downside of not being part, not being, not having this ability to go to the kitchen and take coffee and get to know someone else more personally and so on. So this is the
Got your point.
yeah.
I was not, trying to like, hey, everybody should work from home. I was just more into that. This is just, one example where we were proven wrong because, the narrative for Austria is not even possible. Yeah, I'm not saying it's the best way, but, it's definitely possible. Many companies would and not just us. Basically, during that era, every company needed to adjust it, in some form or way.
Yes, we see the ability of the human
Yeah.
Coming.
I shall actually.
Right? Yeah. Hopefully, we will need to adjust to better reality and not to worse. Yeah.
I hope so. Okay, so next topic that I have here is, questions about specialty software and dongles. Okay. So there are also challenges with dongles, and I will be, very honest with you. I still don't understand, why you need to use such an ancient technology. That's something that I'm not really fond of. But it's still used. So again, it's proven that it's working, in some occasions. So yeah, what do you think? Challenges, dealing with dongles, or any hardware keys, things like that. You have done what is done, basically, or you know what I mean. Like, yeah, if you're managing it, what are the worst things that you need to take care of?
First, it's will. That it didn't exist because I started with my career, and yes, everything was protected by a dongle.
The story, but when you started your career, I'm back.
Why?
Just to prove how old it is.
Yeah. Yeah, in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically, so it's still a very valid way to protect software and to deliver software, and the recruiterism for doing that, it's still a multi-billion businesses. And they are very good solutions, by the way, very sophisticated. And as there are specific challenges that are related to dongle. So the biggest problem is that you lose the dongle. It takes a second to lose it. So you asked me for it, I left it on your table, someone moved it by accident, now it's covered by a piece of paper and you don't know about it. Something happened to your computer, you report to IT and you left, it took the computer and took the dongle also. So there are the ability to prevent. So there is no way to say, oh yeah, we'll assure 100% no dongle could be lost. That's not going to happen. But I'm saying the ability to track, to save the dongle is by immediately knowing that something changed. So the minute you take it out, the minute the computer was disconnected, you want to know about that, and this might give you the time to, okay, I can save the dongle. Call the technician, make sure it's with you, I want it back. Or, okay, this you can track the events that happened and say, okay, the dongle is here, and you can log in. So this is one thing. Second is, if it's lost, then two cases. One, the vendor believes you and he's saying, okay, sign here, this is there. Say, okay, I am giving you a replacement of. In other cases, it's lost forever. You lost the investment and you need to buy a new one. When you sign and say, okay, I declare this is lost and give me a new token, you need to make sure that this token is not coming back.
Yes.
Because if one to the lab, it's bad. Yeah. Now there's a spare token. And as employees that are not always aware of the legal consequences, they might use it. And here you have a very serious compliance problem. You also signed that you are not going to use it. So basically, you need a software like OpenLM that allows you to mark this token as blacklisted. When it comes back, immediately go there and destroy it, because that's your commitment. And that's it. These are the unique capabilities. The rest is kind of general, but still refers to the dongle. Okay, so how do I track that a person is actually utilizing the software or not. So he needed it for a specific software project and use it massively during the 2 months. After 2 months, lies there, nobody is using it, and who knows, in another unit within the organization they're buying 3 new ones because they really need it. And you can easily take this token from that person. So flexibility is so critical, and this is an asset that is hard to measure. It's not like a FlexLM managed software where you get a report on the user, you send off, you give it to someone, and you lost on it all, whatever. If you have OpenLM, you don't.
Okay, so let me touch on one of the things that you said. You said, employees are really not aware about the labor cost analysis.
Yes.
Getting the lost on go back.
Yes.
So, what do you think about, because, the solution, what we are, trying to get to our customers, but, in all the others, similar cases, is basically on the shoulders of somebody who is leading the initiative, right? So, with either IT, license manager, this kind of person. Should the employees be more aware? Legal consequences, what could happen with the licenses? Because, just please take into account that I think that, let's say in our company, we don't have, the amount of trainings and, knowledge that is required just, about some internal processes, let's say some big corporation. But still, I feel, the amount of information that you have, is big about.
It's a lot. It's a lot, but I really think it's important that employees will have look, we are a software management company, and everyone in the company, I'm saying, including HR and finance, should know these things. But yes, I think engineers should know and understand that. I'm telling you, I have a story. I work for an organization, and the vendor we're using was kind enough to say, okay, it's a critical operation, and I will give you one license file for production, the other license file for backup. So if there is a problem, you immediately switch. And you can imagine that many times some smart engineer found a way to connect to the backup server and use it regularly, so doubling the number of available licenses, which is wrong. It's wrong to do. It's illegal, and it's exposing the organization to a huge compliance issue. It's also a trust issue. I'm saying, yes, people should know that, to people should understand the organization, the corps.
Okay. So then let's move to our other topic, and that is about some plans, future, what will happen. I know that it is something that you are very interested in and very involved in. So, well, first of all, let's start with this. There are definitely some common misunderstandings, about the software licensing, common to many people. Whether again, there are we are specializing in specialized licenses, but I think these misconceptions are again the same for any application that you use, any licensing. So can I maybe name one that is like most critical? If you want to mention more, please do.
There are so many. I think if I need to choose one, is one that I really like, is people that are saying, okay, I will buy the solution, I will organize everything and make sure that everyone that has the license has the right level of license. I will organize the groups, the allocation and everything. And after that, automated. They don't need it. It's okay. Well, take it for what rotor solve. Yes, exactly. It's not a problem. I organize everything, but no, it doesn't work like that because this is an organization is like it's a live organization usually. Projects are changing and people are changing and the focus is changing, everything is changing. Also people go on vacation, go on maternity leave, they do things are happening. So this misconception of saying, okay, I fixed this problem, now I'm moving on. No, it's not something, it's a continuous process where you always adjust to the changes. Now, I only mention changes from the side of the organization. What about the changes from the vendor side?
Anyhow, outside the open ones.
Changing licensing style, changing version, change capabilities, change the implementation type. I worked in a period where most of the software were deployed locally, and then everything moved to the server and now running on the browser. Huge changes are happening all the time, and it's never, ever a single time process where, okay, I did the optimization to move forward to the next form. Yeah.
Okay, that was a good one. Do you have another one or?
There are many. I can mention another one easily. Few weeks ago, but just now, I had a discussion with a partner. I don't want to mention name. We were working on a very, very big project, and there was a discussion on the price. It always comes to that, and saying, how much money do you expect the customer to invest just in order to be compliant? And I'm saying being compliant is important. I'm not underestimating that, but the value of a good software asset management is much higher than being compliant. It's about optimizing your workforce. It's about setting the right approach within the organization, that we care about the organization resources, we utilize them properly. It's not about only software asset. It's a general approach. We care about resources. It might be the equipment that we are using, about the consumable that we are using, about the vehicle of the company, everything that we are doing. And it's also for software. Saying it's all starts there. And no, it's not only the value of being compliant, of course.
So maybe I would say, it's just he's a big puzzle, but unfortunately, many times it's focused on this, at least what's my experience and how I do it. So I agree with that's great. All right, so next thing is a topic that you are very interested in, and you love that is the AI, machine learning. I love that you are very fond of this technology. You are using it every day. You are trying to push it into our products. Basically, you are the guy who wants the AI to be everywhere. I think I correct that statement.
Yeah, no, that's Joey.
Yeah, all right. So, future license management and AI. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, I think that first thing is we've seen in the last years a change in licensing, and basically, okay, everyone. So, okay, let's say all the finance people, they don't like the perpetual model anymore. Okay, no, you get the money, you get maintenance, and then you get lower amount of maintenance every year. This is not kept only subscription. And we've seen this trend of moving everything to subscription. And My guess is that this trend will continue. No question. Pricing per user will continue, but not everywhere, and it will eventually reduce because we see that AI is breaking completely the whole way things are working. In order to do the same work, you need less people. You need less licenses. Basically, if a vendor will switch to named licenses, eventually they won't be able to cover their expenses. They won't be able to bring revenue, and vendor will need to adjust their licensing. And we are going to see new license schemes. So, for example, outcome-based. For example, based on the number of tokens. And we see that most AI LLMs works this way. So I think it will change the whole approach to license management eventually in the end. Why do I care as a vendor how many users you have? I care about the outcome that you are getting from my software. How can I make your project more efficient? This is the outcome, and I want to be paid by that, according to that, not according to the number of users. It doesn't matter. So it will. I don't want to predict because it's very hard. I think it will continue to grow for a while, and then it will go down significantly. We won't see this user-based licensing go on again.
Yeah, no, I'm going very easy, we don't need predictions. We are just looking at videos. Yes, so you can say whatever you want, whatever you think will happen. And okay, yeah, that is actually a very good point that I don't even thought about before. When I was preparing the questions, or let's say, the direction which we should go. But okay, let me also ask, because I was thinking about this topic. How can basically any organization implement, some sort of AI tool to help them, what was the optimizing, reducing, analyzing, that should be, in my opinion, a field where, AI could basically replace, the person, because now you more need an analyst, because, AI will give you all the data. So what are your thoughts on, that?
So, okay, so I want to focus on what we are doing. So one aspect is what's going to happen. We spoke about it. Second aspect is what are we doing in our software to utilize these capabilities. And we are doing this for a few years now. So I think the most important capability that I see now, and we are utilizing and trying to utilize more, is to create a better license allocation and to adjust the licensing model to the specific behavior of the user. License allocation is something very important for subscription-based licensing. So if before we had a pool and we had many engineers accessing the pool, they can then license it. This is another type of problem. How do you do it? How many license servers do you have? Where do you locate them? How do you make sure everyone is getting what they need? This was a different problem. Now we are dealing with a problem where we have entitlements, we have users who need to allocate the licenses, and the vendor always presented as, okay, I gave you best tool, just add the user, allocate the licenses and forget about it. This is This is exactly what you shouldn't.
Yes.
So you need to manage that. And in order to do this in a proper way, we need to understand the consumption of the licenses, and we need to understand it to the level of knowing that this individual user is typically using that software at that time during the day, and on this day, on July, August, he's on vacation and he's planning a leave. At that time, as we have all data, so first we need AI to build this usage patterns of the user. And second, in order to build the license, to fit a license scheme to the specific user. Let's give an example. Autodesk. I can have a network license still available and many organizations are using. I can have a token-based usage. I can have an industry subscription. I can have a specific subscription to a specific software. These are many different models that can fit different people. And I want to do this. I'm saying maybe a model that was good for me for a specific month, January, March, April, whatever, doesn't fit to my life. I'm only working 5 days during this month. Yeah. Okay, so give me a token-based licensing, we save money, and we can do it. We can do it because it's a software. You don't really need AI for that, but AI is helping us to do the process better. Also, I'm saying one of the concerns that are out there is we need reports. So reports are critical. We were educated to look on reports, to look on charts and get to a decision which might be good, maybe not optimized, or always an optimized decision. And I think that the availability to make the data available to these models and maybe constantly analyze the information allows us to come also with reports, but also with insights, right? So instead of telling me, look, here is the report, think how many licenses you need, then I can tell you, okay, you need these number of licenses according to these types of food next month. And if you want me to explain why I got to this decision, yes, you can see it here. This is where I think we are going. It's exactly the change with the search engine. I was going to search engine, searching for something, and then I need to review the results. Now I go to the LLM. I'm asking the question, I'm getting the answer. So this is
Okay.
similar.
Yeah, we were trying this function and then Friday, I believe, right? They were trying different prompts in our report, but even though the model was not well trained, right? We just begin with this, and the results are quite impressive to me. If I take into the account that we really it could definitely be much better for us. We can put more data into the model, but still, I would be kind of skeptical to just blindly follow, or not even blindly follow every single something. But then know that's something that you shouldn't do. But okay, how reliable do you think, if you basically, you try to put the best prompt that you can think of, and, this model will give you an answer. How propose it is, to, or well, can you do a better job than a human who will spend, let's say, some hours doing the analysis of the data? Or is the AI,
The better is, well, you know what? Let's start with. I think we always need to check it. So doesn't matter. You transmitted it, you checked a lot, and then maybe you adjusted it. The important thing is to have the data that is saying, okay, last month I did this adjustment, and this was the result. And the next month I did this adjustment. This is the result. So this way, you know whether the model is giving good results or maybe not optimal results, and I need to adjust it. And this is one of the central things from the time we started. Have the information without having clear information about what happened every month, what was my usage level, how many licenses I consume. You can't really manage it in a good way over time. And there, again, doesn't matter. The machine took a decision. Was it good? Not good? Let's see every month. Now, the good thing about these machines is it can spend a lot of time doing what it does. It does it all the time. It can learn from past experience. So I think I tend to rely on these results and to always make sure that I'm checking. I'm asking why, explain why. So I understand what is the thought process. It's a machine, chief. There's no thinking. What was the process and what's the underlying data? I think it's still important.
Okay, but I will go a little bit harder on this because, okay, I do understand that, okay, will have my best prompt, I will get the results. But now, let's imagine a scenario. I will basically was the result of the analysis, and now I will not see any, events that will basically suggest me that, that the decision was wrong, right? I don't have any problems, and users that will be complaining, nothing like that, right? Then I will say, okay, as you said, I need to double check on the data to see if maybe, I can do a better job, I can optimize more, whatever. If I can do a better job than the AI model. But then, I'm again doing the work back, which should the AI do for me? You know what I mean? So,
let's see. Yeah, let's take our field. Okay, specifically, how do we judge success? So I think for us it's very obvious. So first we need to make sure that everyone is getting the tools they want.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that with OpenLM we are measuring everything. So we know when someone was denied, tried to get the license, he didn't get the license. So this is a negative feedback. Oh, tried to get it, I didn't get it. The other thing that we want to check on the other hand, that in order to provide this service level, I'm not putting too many resources. So I want to see that I'm as close as to 100% utilization, which is never accessible. But I know my statistics. I can know that I can say that in organization A, it's 80% utilization, let's say 60% utilization, everyone should be there. No, it depends on the way you work, your structure, your shift, your geographical distribution, the type of licenses you have. But for your organization, you do have a benchmark that is built over time. In a typical, February to May, I'm getting this kind of result. On June, July, August, I'm getting another type of result. And now you can set a goal and say, I want to improve another 5% this year. Next year, I'm setting another target to improve further. And this way, create a slow process where you constantly improve the utilization of the license. This is how I see it. I think it's not a blind process in any way. So there's no blind.
No, I was not implying that it's blind. I was more, asking, let's say, a philosophical question. Right? Can I do a better job? And then, I don't know if I don't try to do it myself.
This is measurable. That I think there are harder things to measure. So we are a software company. We have engineers sitting developing code. So it's one. This is a hard question. How do you say, okay, this is a good engineer that is the leading and so on, and this is a less.
So to use AI?
No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying this is complex because it's hard to measure productivity. So how many lines of code you measure? You wrote? How many people did you mentor and helped? How many support engineers are coming to consult with you? How many sessions did you have with customers in order to understand the requirement to develop the feature? What level of design did you prepare for the for your software? How many bugs were reported? How many repeated second time same bug not reported after you fixed it? So you see the level of the complexity is much higher than, okay, we need to make sure that we are moving forward with our lives.
Okay, so, since we established that, you are basically the man of the future in our company, so now that this is again like more of a rhetorical or philosophical question. So what do you believe will be the market force? Well, maybe not even like a market forces, but the events that will drive the innovation in software licensing.
Yeah, so we did discuss the shift in license. Yeah, so this is something that we spoke a lot about. I think that we will see a lot of focus in compliance and cybersecurity, because this is a huge risk for our customers. We see how much they care about it. I think it will increase significantly. It will significantly increase these tools, the LLMs, are exposing our organization. How many times we speak about that in our company meetings. There is also lots of other regulations. Most people knows about the privacy regulations in Europe, in California, in different places, but there are many little specific regulations related to specific field where our customer operate, and there is a lot of focus on that. And I think these are the things that we will need to focus on in the near future.
And you really know the problem, in my opinion, is that, like you said, California is, a standout example in the US, and it was also a debate inside the European Union, right? Because currently there is no common regulation for the AI in the European Union. Without Italy, that for some period of time even like banned, I think, one of the models, because they didn't like, they told at the time that, even GDPR is, not strong enough regulation for an AI model.
Yes.
So that is something that, needs to be figured out in the future on how to protect the data.
And it's definitely adjacent to us, and we see that they.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So we are closing to the finish. So again, I will ask you one philosophical question. I think you like those down. I need to mention to our listeners and to our viewers that earlier this week we had a company event where Oren had a nice funny activity with us where we were asking these questions, and sometimes I got answers that really surprised me. You asked a very simple question, and the answer was really not something that you can think of in 2 seconds. Very thoughtful, very interesting idea. So
Our Socratic
Socratic questions. That's what I like. Very good. No, very good activity. It was interesting. It has not side that you do every height. It's exact. Okay, so misconceptions that are happening or discussed in when we are discussing the license optimizations. Let's say with somebody who is business leaders, not somebody who is license administrator who have a lot of insights, but let's say more about leaders, managers, people who care about the ROI.
Okay. So I think it came up on different question like four. So we mentioned two things. One, it's all about compliance. So software is all about compliance. I'm compliant. I'm happy. That's a misconception because there is a lot of waste in the organization. It's all about cost cutting, and it's and I also don't agree to that. So I think it's also a misconception. So it's not all about money. It's all about being efficient. It's all about utilizing the resources. It's about reducing the waste. So I think
We established this already, but can you maybe tell us, did you already add a conversation? Some business leader who were putting on the table these misconceptions and how you responded to them, or basically how you turned into your point of view of this problem. Chemical bias is not everything, money is not everything. Do you have some example that you can talk about maybe?
Good question.
Or hypothetically, if you become the discussion.
I think that what we see, look, we are doing specialty and engineers licensing, and I think that when there is an understanding gap between me and maybe the customer I'm talking with, or a partner, or a consultant for licensing, I see that when they come from a different discipline. So always using this, contract license software. Okay, you bought Office for the organization from Microsoft. You get the CD, just distribute it to everyone within the organization. If you install operating system, you install antivirus system, all these solutions that are kind of globally distributed. So the whole idea, and the vendor is telling you in advance, okay, here is the disk, deploy, this is the software, send update, everything. I will come to audit. That's part of the argument. I'm coming to audit, and I will come to come. And these people only see compliance. This is the game. And yes, when they're starting to become exposed to different licensing model, completely different, it's like, okay. I think it's an eye-opening event, and okay, interesting. There's something else. It works differently. It's not only this, and I can therefore my experience say, going sometimes to some events, and you see some managers, they manage the assets for huge organization. So when we talk, saying, yes, engineering. No, this is engineering. It's wrong. It's wrong. The icon here. Well, yeah. So that's oh no, people are very open to listen and to exchange views, and so it's okay.
Okay, then I think that wraps it up for today. So thank you very much, host attendee of our podcast. And there is room for if you want to make any last words, comments, message.
Well, thank you, anybody that is going to watch it. Thank you very much, and we are looking for your feedback. So anything that you want us to talk about and focus, our team will be happy to prepare that. And I'm sure there are many other people within our organization that can even give you many other topics. Yes, exactly, on many other topics. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Oren. It was a pleasure, everybody. Bye-bye.